in the room, come on in the room, and welcome to Fun Times Magazine's special Valentine's Day event. I want you to share this with your friends. I see people coming in the room already. So welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, I see our guests popping in. Send me a request so that I can let you in the room. Please make sure that you share this with your friends. We're going to have a great conversation. It is our Valentine's Day special event. And I know Valentine's Day has passed, but the love is going to continue all month long. And so please come on in the room. I see Diana Nichols, who just happens to be my mother, tuning in from Ocala, Florida. I'm going to pop on in here. We got one more guest that's coming in. Welcome, welcome. Please, again, make sure that you share this. Hey, Kayla. Hey.
Hello, Levon. Hello.
Welcome, welcome. I can't wait to have this conversation. We're going to get started as soon as our other guest sends me their request. But thank you for joining us
Of
today.
course, it is my pleasure. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have this discussion.
Awesome, awesome. Welcome to all those who are just tuning in. We are going to have a great conversation with two amazing panelists on the color of love, how the power of love can strengthen Black communities. And that's what we want, that is what we need. As soon as my other guest comes in, please send me a request so I can add you. Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to hit all the waves. Say hi to everyone. Hello, hello. Kayla, say hi.
Hello, hello,
Say hi to my
everybody.
mom, Kayla.
Hello, Mom. Hello.
She got in here. I'm so proud of her.
Doing better than my mom.
Hello, I see the Fun Times team. Hey, Diamond. All right, so I see my other guests. You can send me a request and we can start our conversation. All right, here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Victoria.
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
Diamond. Hello, hello. Welcome.
Hey y'all, happy Friday.
Happy
Happy
Friday.
Friday. So we are going to have a great, great discussion. And so if I didn't say this in the beginning, my name is Levon Nichols. I am your Fun Times Magazine host, and we are going to have an amazing conversation all about love. And so the title is The Color of Love, How the Power of Love Can Strengthen Black Communities. And we have two phenomenal panelists with you today. We have Kayla West, who is an amazing host, producer, and content editor at WURD right here in the city of Philadelphia. She is joining us today. And we also have Dr. Corey Grice, who is a mental health professional who I know personally, and he owns the Life Turn Center. And so we are going to have this great discussion, but I wanted to say why we're actually having this conversation. And so we recognize that love is one of the most important forces that we have at our disposal. And so we know that love is a hardness in our community. When love is hardness in our community, it has the potential to heal, unite, and strengthen. And I don't know about you guys, but that is what we need right now
Yes,
in
Lord.
our country with
Hmm.
everything that's going on, the systemic challenges, the inequalities that are happening. We want to promote not just love amongst man and woman. We wanted to show love to our community, which means self love. That means community love. We wanted to show love for this Valentine's season around our community because we believe we really, 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 really needed it. All right, so you know Don too. All right, look at
It's my
listen, it's such
brother.
a small world. All right, Don Henry popping in. And so we wanted to have this is the reason why we wanted to have this conversation. And so let's get into our questions.
Yeah.
All right, so Kayla and Dr. Grice, thank you again for joining us today. And I wanted to kick this off with a big one.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys
Okay.
ready?
Okay.
Um,
Ready?
so, what role does self love and self acceptance play in fostering resilience within Black communities? And whoever wants to take that
Ooh,
first, I said we're
ooh.
gonna start. We're gonna start. We getting right in there.
Sis, I'm leaning to you. Ladies first, okay?
No, I feel like he's gonna be nice and tell me ladies first because he's gonna get deep because he's the doctor. But in my little personal opinion, um, self-love is the root of love in our Black community, right? Because we come from a long standing history of being mistreated, being abused, being used. We have to find it in ourselves to know that we are valuable, that we are precious, that we are the
Mhm.
stuff, right? And because if you don't love yourself, if you don't think highly of yourself, who else will? If
Mhm.
we just play into the stereotype of, oh, nobody knows the trouble I've seen, we're just average, we're mediocre, we're not the best, we can't do it. If we just consistently have that in our mindset, then no one else will treat us like we are the bomb.com. So if we don't love ourselves and if we don't accept who we are, if we don't accept that our skin is beautiful, if we don't
Mhm.
accept all of that, the community dies in itself because we are damning ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. We are the bomb.com. Go ahead,
now,
Dr. Grace.
now you see, you was straight with it. You hit it straight forward. Ain't nothing
I was
really
tr-
left to say.
I was trying not to be churchy. Levon always called me churchy, and I
We
felt
got two
that.
preachers. Listen, when you started talking, I said we got two preachers on the line.
Oh
So, oh
Lord.
my goodness.
You know, when I think about self love, though, I think about
Mm,
capacity, right? I
mm,
think the less self love you have, the less capacity you have to love other people.
mm,
And I think if love is the heartbeat of which makes our families run, makes our business do well,
mm,
makes all the community efforts do well, if it's rooted in love, then our community has very little
mm,
capacity
mm,
because we do not foster, develop, strengthen, push that self love. I think even sometimes we get into the victimization mindset
mm,
generationally, and so it is hard to push past what others have said, what
yeah.
others have done. Even we have normalized self
Mm,
hate. We've normalized
mm,
false humility in a lot of ways. So for me, I think love creates capacity, and if we do not
Mm.
have some self love, it explains the lack of capacity we have in our communities. Hope
Wow,
that makes
that's
sense.
listen,
a lot of
okay,
sense.
I just have to remind our viewers. I told you we having a phenomenal panelist with us today. They gonna be dropping things all over the place. One, I hope you're following Fun Times. I hope you're following them, and I hope you
Yeah.
share this with other people because my goodness, that right there. What we only 8 minutes into the conversation, and y'all already dropping stuff all over the
Yeah.
capacity. If we don't have self love and self acceptance, we won't have the capacity to love our communities, to love our families.
Mm,
Mm,
Come on
yeah.
through.
mm.
All
Yeah.
right. So, next question, Kayla. Kayla, from your perspective, how can we use the power of love to build stronger intergenerational bonds and preserve our culture?
Hmm.
Well, first, I think we need to define what is love, right?
Come on.
Because a lot of times people automatically think of the Eros type of love, that romantic type of love. But the love that we need in our community is that phileo, that philia type of love, which is friendship love one to
That's right.
another. And
Mm-hmm.
agape love, which is sincere, without a cause type of love. Because sometimes we put conditions on our love.
Yeah.
But to build a strong Black community, it needs to be unconditional.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if your socioeconomic status is different than mine. At some point in time, we're going to have the same struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make sure that you can keep your socioeconomic status, and I can eventually reach your socioeconomical status. And I think in order to build our communities with love, we need to understand that type of love.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times in the Black community, we have what is called extended families. We
Hmm.
have our cousins. You know, everybody is your cousin in them. Everybody's your auntie. You know, if you get that respectful of your ma, your grandma, that's wonderful.
Right.
But we kind of keep it to that, just that family portion. We never truly extend it out to those other means of showing love. Because pretty sure y'all show love to other people besides your family.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is how we build our community. First, figuring out what is love and how we express those
Yeah.
types of love, and then building our community around that, building it around growing partnerships with each other,
Yeah.
build it with giving help without looking for something in return. That's a big thing too,
Mm.
because a lot
Woo.
of times people want to give you something and then expect something in return. No, sometimes I just need you to help me out.
Mm-hmm. All right now.
I,
All right.
you
Go
know,
ahead.
sis, I'll piggyback. I don't know what happened. Like when I was growing up, and I hate to sound, I don't want to be act sound old, but when I was coming up, there was a Miss Michelle at the corner that would wear
Mm.
my behind out if I was wrong. There was a Miss Jerry on the other corner if I was wrong.
I had a
My
Miss
homeboy,
Fanny across the street.
my home, my homeboy Fletch, his mama was at the top of the street. My homeboy Anwar, his mama, his family lived at the bottom of the street. So
Yeah.
there was some community that was innate.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck happened to our generation.
Mm.
I don't know if we let classism slip
Come
in,
on.
sexism slip in. Something slipped into our mindset that helped
Mm-hmm.
had us forget we brothers and sisters, that
Yes.
we have to do this together. And the illusion that you are going to get to this place on your
Come
own,
on.
you
Talk
will find out
about it.
really quick the moment you start to build on your own how much you need
Yeah.
other people. So I do think we need to define it, but I think we need to go back. We need to reflect on what the heck have we allowed in our space and in our mindset and our thinking
Yeah.
and our churches and all of the things that feed us information that has somehow created this divide among us.
Yes.
I go to other
Yes.
countries. Sometimes I see a colorism divide that you know
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
sometimes a lighter skin,
Mm-hmm.
a darker skin. I don't think we necessarily face that here, but
I
something.
beg to differ, bro.
Okay, go ahead, sis. Go ahead after. I knew you was. Go ahead after.
I just beg to differ. I think colorism is very still alive in our Black communities. You said what happened to us, and I
Yeah.
agree, because I also grew up in that time where it didn't matter if you was not my biological parent or my
Right.
blood, that you could chastise me. I
Mm-hmm.
agree wholeheartedly that we need to be able to get back to those things, but I do think color, socioeconomic status came into our communities and started breaking us up. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think colorism ever really went anywhere. Like
Right.
sometimes, even if we look far deep into our history, when you go back to the field Negro and the house Negro, when
Okay.
freedom came about,
Mm,
some of those house Negroes still said, you was out there, you
mm,
can't come in
Mm.
my house.
mm,
And that
mm.
is something that has been traditionally passed down of I'm better than you because I look like this and I have more privileges because I look like
You're right
this.
about it.
So how do
You're
we
right about it.
build? How do we, okay, we know what happened. We know our history. We know the things that we faced from the outside and what we face on the inside. So how do we build the stronger bonds?
I think she said it earlier. It's going to take an individual intention
Mm-hmm.
to recognize we are connected and be intentional about those partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
period. I think one of the values that I have for my company, for my church, and even for myself is partnership.
Mm-hmm.
I recognized a long time ago I cannot do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And if we continue to stay in these silos, then those voices that are united, that are larger than ours, are going to continue to push back,
Yeah.
especially on the agendas that are most needed for our community. So I think it's going to take us intentionally putting ourselves in environments and around people we don't know who have different skill sets that we have and partner in the areas that we are deficient in. I
Yeah.
can't do it all. There's no way I can do
Exactly.
it all. But I do recognize I know it's brothers and sisters who look just like me who can staff those deficient spaces that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Can you give me a few more practical ways of how we can build unity?
Okay. First thing I would say is recognize your deficiencies.
Mm,
Andy Stanley said, competence is knowing what you cannot do.
mm,
Not knowing what you can do, knowing what you cannot do. And
mm-hmm.
so I think it starts there, knowing what you can and what you cannot do. Another practical step is once I recognize what I cannot do, I need to be intentionally finding people who look like me who can do it,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
can do it, and then diving, jumping all the way in head first with some humility and allowing those people with their skill set, their strengths to lead me in
Yeah.
those areas, whether it
Yeah.
be with my family and my money and my business and my social circles. I'm a firm believer we have everything we need in our community. I
Yeah.
just don't think we have the humility enough to say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I don't know what I'm doing and I need some help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kayla,
I
you want to add
think
to that?
I think that is definitely one. Identifying your deficiencies, asking for help. I think that's even a second one.
Okay.
Mm,
Honestly, man, I think that's honestly a second one. But three, intentional community
Mm,
events.
mm,
mm,
Here in Philadelphia, it is nothing for a section of Philly to have a community event, and then we have what I like to say a United Philly event, like
yeah.
Odoon Day, right?
Yeah.
Odoon Day is so beautiful because everybody from north,
everywhere. Yeah.
south,
Yep.
west, like everybody's coming together. What if we had more intentional, large span community events? Not wait for Odoon Day,
Yeah.
not wait for Kwanzaa with Mama Maisha. What if throughout the year we had intentional community events? Not wait for the mayor's office of engagement to have something in your section. Not wait for NAACP to have something. What's stopping us
Yeah.
from getting
Mm,
together and saying, hey, I want to do an event? Because guess what, y'all? Block parties can still exist, not just in the summertime. We can
That's
block
right.
off a street.
That's right.
I love it. New York did this thing last year. They blocked off a street and only had black vendors out there just for people to come holiday shop with black
mm,
people. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure if Mika Johnson partnered with somebody else, they could do that.
Right. Right.
We
But
need
it
to be
talks,
intentional.
but again, it goes back to intention. And do we really feel like it's important? I think because of what's going on, we will have to stick together more than ever. But if we don't feel like it's important and we have this selfish, like, I'm just going to worry about me and mine until it affects the
Mm-mm.
community, and then I need the community's help, and then I want to unite, we got to do it while we have our resources, while we
Right.
have the ability to do stuff, and not be held down by governmental restrictions. It has to be something that we do, and that goes back to love. If we really love ourselves, we really love our community, and we realize how much us sticking together will benefit us in the long end, we would be more intentional about these type of activities.
I
I,
think that some of us lie about partnerships, to be honest with
Mm.
you, because we want the glory. I think
Oh,
part of us need to be honest
ouch.
about
Woo!
whose shoulders we
Come
stood on,
on.
whose lines, quotes, everything else we stole. And I
Mm.
mean, stop stealing. I mean, not stay still. I'm a copycat. I think there's nothing wrong being a copycat as long as you know what cat to copy, right? We need to be honest about the things that we are using, the resources that we are using from other people. I
Mm.
think too many times we present an image that we got here on our
Wow.
own. That's a lie. You
Yeah.
need to share your story of who helped you get there along the way because there's no way in God's name you made it on your own. None of us have.
I
No.
think, bro,
Yes.
that they don't share because they're embarrassed. Some people are embarrassed where they come from because they have
Mm,
made this image of themselves that they are high, that they are mighty, that they are class A, right? And they are embarrassed to say that they came from the trenches.
come on. I feel like we reading the folks, we read the community, but
But
it's needed.
it is. I wonder, like, when did it become embarrassing to come from poverty? When did
Mm,
that
mm,
when did that become embarrassing? When did it become? When did we have to start lying about where we came from? And not most of us who are black folks didn't come from generational wealth. Ain't nobody passed down a whole bunch of stuff to us. We all came pulling up from the bootstraps.
yeah.
I just don't understand where we got embarrassed about our history.
I think we got embarrassed about our history when we were able to get in rooms that we always dreamed of. And
Ooh.
because sometimes people can't handle the weight of a room. It's very
Mm,
important that when you ask to be in a room and you find yourself in the room, that you can handle the weight of the room.
Come
Because
on,
no matter where
Doc.
I go, I'm not embarrassed to say I'm a little black girl from North Philadelphia who
Mm,
stems from Georgia. Because when I
mm.
open my mouth, you're going to hear it. As much as I try to hide my accent, it's not going anywhere. Right? It's not going anywhere. My family
Oh,
came from Georgia. So when I walk into a room, I can't be ashamed of who I am. No
mm,
matter how high I've ascended, I can't be ashamed. But
that's
sometimes
right.
people get in these rooms and the weight of the room, and by that I mean the Ivy Leagues this, the Ivy Leagues that, the generational wealth this, the generational wealth that, and they just want to fit in. So what they do is they minimize their past and they forget their
Mm.
community and they
right.
build community with these people instead of reaching back and bringing someone else with them to that room.
How
Yeah.
does that connect to the lack of self love and self acceptance? Because that acceptance means accepting your whole journey, your whole story.
It goes back to what I said. Some people really have to accept themselves, but they
Yeah.
don't. They accept parts of themselves. Some people like the fact that they're successful in their career, but they hate the fact that they may not have the worship relationship that they want with their God. Some people accept the fact that they're really into their religion and but maybe not be as successful in their career. People don't accept their whole selves. And
Mm,
that is where we started off with. You have to accept your whole self.
And I want to say this. You know, when you get in them rooms, they just normal people,
They
y'all.
really are.
They
They
ain't
pick their nose
no
too.
different. They just normal people. And you supposed to be there with your black hood self. You supposed to be there with all your ebonics and all your beautiful brown skin and all your
that's
cultural dialects. We are
right.
supposed to be at table informing them of their ignorance.
Mm.
I just wanted to say that my preacher came out. Please excuse
It
me,
was good.
but
It was good. I'll give
it,
you an
Listen,
amen.
listen,
I'll give you
listen.
an amen.
it's the truth. They are. You find out after a few moments of talking, they just normal people
Yeah.
with normal needs who have sometimes the same historical trauma that you two, and are
Mhm.
shocked they at the table
Yeah.
just like you are.
Yeah.
It be the
So,
truth.
so Dr. Grace, I know that
Yeah.
you have talked about this in your practice, working with your clients about self-love and self-acceptance. So, how do we cultivate that? Because there's somebody watching, like, wow, I didn't realize that I don't talk about my story. I don't, I kind of got to a certain level and I'm a little embarrassed to share where I came from, or there's certain aspects of myself that I don't really like. So that makes me not like certain aspects of my family because they represent that. So how do we cultivate self-love and self-acceptance?
Mm.
Ooh, girl. How much time we got today? No,
We got a little bit more time. We got a little bit more time.
the first thing I would tell anybody when they're cultivating self acceptance is about the unhealthy idea of comparison. That's
Mm,
the first thing I
Mm.
would knock down. I would say, listen, comparison is unhealthy. Not that we don't do it, it's just
yeah.
unhealthy. And whoever it is that you are measuring yourself against, my challenge to you would be to drop that measuring stick.
Mm,
We can measure the impact that somebody's made in our life, but we can't measure someone else's journey with our own.
Yeah,
Your journey is your journey. What you need to develop is what you're going to need to develop. And I can't be envious or critical of somebody else's journey because I don't know what the heck it took for them to get there. And you will find out real quickly, you don't know what it takes for them to stay there.
exactly.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing I do my best to dismantle is the comparison train that happens in
Yeah,
most people's minds, what they have, what they're doing, what I'm not doing. That's the first thing I would do to dismantle or to help improve that journey of self-love.
yeah. Kayla, would you like to add to that?
Yeah.
No, I think he said it all.
You know what? I appreciate that, sis. She said, no, no, nah, he got that one. I appreciate that.
Can I say something else?
But
I,
you know
I,
what? Go ahead.
I would also encourage grown folks to start having some fun in their life
Mm,
the way that they want to. I think grown folks in our culture, we mask sacrifice when it's really
mm,
neglect.
mm.
And the more you neglect your self care, the more that you are building up your lack of self love. And I think that we work hard, but we don't play hard enough. I think we
Mm,
work hard, but we don't have fun enough. I think we work hard, but we don't take care of ourselves. We don't get the proper rest we need. We don't eat the way we're supposed
come
to.
on.
And we don't talk to that little boy or that little girl in all of us that still needs some toys to have some fun in their life. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
lack of self-care points directly to the lack of motivation to love myself.
Wait a minute.
I'm tired.
Okay,
Okay.
wait a minute,
All
because
right.
you just
I know.
blew me away.
I
You
know.
said we mass
We
self
sacrifice
sacrifice.
and it's really neglect.
Come on, somebody needed to hear that today because we talk about that sacrificing or I just do this, I do that for my friends and da, 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 but you're really neglecting
Yourself.
yourself and there has to be an awareness. It has to be an understanding and a balance to know when you have tipped the scale and you're really neglecting yourself.
That's right.
That means you're no good for them or yourself. At some point, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to catch up to you.
You preaching,
Come
sis.
on, y'all.
And you have to be okay with that, right?
Mm,
The one thing 2020 taught me, and I've been living this way, no is all right. No is
that's
a
right.
full blown answer.
Come on.
If you can't, because like you said, if you've done tip the scale and you are exhausted, you can't help yourself, you can't help your friends. So all that extra that you was doing to push into somebody else, you now have to push into
Yeah.
yourself. You
That's
have to
right.
pour right back into you. So no is an acceptable answer.
Come on.
I think it took the
Come on.
pandemic for all of us to say, I'm doing too freaking much.
Too
Yeah.
much.
Yes.
I am exhausted.
Listen, my
Tired,
hand is
just
up
tired.
because I learned that. I
Mm,
learned that because I'm going here, doing this, doing accepting everything because you got all these gifts and talents. And so it's like I got to put every single gift and talent at every second of the day. I was exhausted. I was tired. The
What
pandemic.
Tamala say? Truth
the
is,
truth.
I was tired.
Listen, after the pandemic, we had all that time to really center ourselves, to do the things that we really love to do. We didn't have all these distractions. There's some things that I really love and have embraced now because of it. I mean, it was a whole bunch of tragedy, and so we don't take away from what the pandemic was, but it also taught us a lot. And one of those things for me was like, it's okay to slow down. It's okay to have some me time. It's okay to not be in everything, every club, on every board. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It
It's
is
okay.
okay.
There are
We got so
too
many
many.
things in the comments. Go ahead, Dr. Grace.
I was just gonna say, there's so many people that like. I ask questions sometimes. Like when last time you did something, bought yourself something?
Mm.
I don't even know. Hmm?
And just buy it for the
Well, I
kids,
buy
for their
for the
significant other.
kids. That is
And
not
food don't
sacrifice.
count.
Mm-mm. It do not.
Food don't count. Because you going to eat. Because I know people say about, well, I treated myself to dinner. They don't count.
Mm-mm.
Because
Mm-mm.
you got to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. I'm off my soapbox. I ain't saying no more.
Listen, it is so good. There's so many comments in here. I'm trying to read some of them. There is power in saying no to others and saying yes to yourself. That is the hardest lesson I've learned. Thank you for sharing that. Said, I know that's true for me. I have to say no with a period. Thank you, Kayla, for that. So, so good. So, Kayla, I have a question for you. So, especially in our younger generations and really promoting that self love and power, how can we use that to create positive change? How do we do that in the younger community?
Hmm.
So, Levon, honestly, I don't think our younger community, Gen Z
Mm,
on down,
mm,
has no problem with self love.
Mm.
okay.
This is the crazy part. Our generation and generations above us, we look at them and say, "There's some selfish kids."
Mm.
But
I'm
are
sure
they?
I know it's been said. I know it's been said.
Are they? Because they take time. We look at it as them being disrespectful. We look at it as them being selfish because we ask them to do something and they give us those no with a periods.
Yeah.
Or they
Mhm.
ask us why. Or they just simply don't do it. But
Right.
what
Or
if
they say
they
I
do
don't have the
it?
capacity for that.
And we have to learn to respect that. A lot of times, growing up, they say, "Oh, you a kid. You don't have any problems. You don't have any issues." No, they
Mm.
do. They go through real issues. They go through real traumas. They go through real problems. So we, as the adults, have to respect them and knowing that they may not have the capacity to do this right now.
Mhm.
They're taking some time for themselves. Now the question is, what are they doing in that time for themselves? Some of them get into
That's right.
so, some of them get into some little situations that they
That's
don't
right.
need to be in. They need to, we got to make sure that they're fostering healthy
Ex-
self love.
That's
exactly.
right. That's
But
right.
Exactly.
That's right.
but I don't think they have a problem of thinking highly of themselves. So when you say, what do we do? I think what we do is make sure that whatever they're doing in their alone time is healthy. Teach, because the one thing this younger generation also don't have a problem with is talking about their problems.
They do. They
They'll
do
get
not have a
Mm.
problem.
they'll put it in their group chat. They'll talk to their friends. This
On
generation don't.
TikTok.
They don't have a problem talking to therapists. Whereas older generation, they're not going to therapists. So I think we just have to make sure that in their community, in their group chats, on TikTok,
Yeah.
that they're fostering healthy behaviors.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think that is where we need to focus on, and I think that'll move our communities in a bit
I love
better.
that.
So when you're
Mm.
angry, instead of breaking things, instead of making diss tracks with foster a hate community,
Yeah.
they need to figure out how to talk it out, do something constructive. Even just yesterday, I was frustrated. I'm sure I was really frustrated yesterday, and a lot of times when I get frustrated, I have a tendency and go into a real big bubble and silencing out everybody. That's
Mm.
unhealthy behavior, right?
Mm.
So what did I do instead? I stayed inside of the bubble of where I was with people in the meeting, and I just started doodling
Mm. Yes.
to release
Yes.
that stress. And somebody said, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm just doodling." And then about 20 minutes later, I was able to come back to reality, frustration gone, and able to pick back up with what we were doing. We
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
teach them how to do these things healthy instead of going away,
Yeah.
shooting people, getting in fights, breaking up stuff. They have to figure out how to healthily uh,
Yeah.
figure out their
I
emotions.
love
Now you
that.
know I gotta tap into that, Dr. Grice. I know you have some more. Give us some more because listen, journaling, doodling, coloring, all of these are ways to channel negativity. Do we have any other ones in for
I
men and women?
I can't find my book, but there's a book called "100 Ways of Self Love for Black Men."
Mm,
I recommend that our audience get it. I think it's like "100 Ways of Self Love for Black Men." I think that's the title of it. But man, all the practical examples that they give of how we can do better self care and better self love, I think that's true. I also want to say I agree with you, sis. Man, that younger generation, if they don't know, they know boundaries in ways unimaginable. Okay, I be I,
They'll
I
they
tell
will
you
tell
no
you to stay out
with the
their room in a
quickness.
heartbeat. They will
They
say, "Stay
will.
out of my room. This is my personal space." In a heartbeat.
Ain't paid that one bill.
Exactly.
It's my fault. Bro.
this is my space. This is my room. I need some agency. One kid told me you violate my agency right now. I said, your agency, bro.
Come on.
But they but they have caught a hold of the message. If we be
Yeah,
clear, they have caught a hold of the message. I think we, our
yeah,
generation and previous, need to do a better job of play and fun
yeah.
and de-stress, and we have to do it with fidelity. If
Mm-hmm.
we don't plan, you can forget
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
There's a rule we have every 90 days. I am up out of here. And in between those 90 days, there's a concert,
yeah.
there's a Airbnb,
Mm-hmm.
there's a comedy show. There is something that I am putting myself in that makes me just laugh,
Yeah.
enjoy myself, detox. And I don't have a problem telling them people at the church I ain't gonna be there on Sunday. Matter of fact, I don't even tell them no more. I just don't show up.
Because the
Y'all gonna be all
church will
right.
wear you out, honey. The church will wear you thin too. Every gray hair on my head is because of the church.
Listen,
I can't. I
won't
cannot.
won't
Can't.
won't take it from me no more. They will be all right. They'll
So
be all right.
somebody needed to hear that it's okay to have fun. It's okay to get out because how are you going to get back to that happy place if you don't ever take time and schedule it? We have busy schedules and it's so easy to get inundated with just everything else. You have to schedule it. And this is again, we're talking about the color of love, self-love and
That's
acceptance in
right.
our community,
That's
but
right.
we talked about how to get to that place. And if we are comparing, if we are bogged down with just the busyness, if we are trying to say that we're sacrificing for our community and our family, but we're really neglecting
Neglecting.
ourselves. Because I had to, for the people who just came in, have them help you understand why we are at this point in the conversation. So if you are neglecting yourself, that means you are not giving yourself what you need to be healthy and then to be able to be healthy in this community because we need everyone healthy, which means we need everyone to be at a place where they are understanding what they need and what they don't need to be
Yeah.
who God has called them to be.
Exactly.
Can I
Yeah,
throw one more thing in there?
yes,
I
yes,
I think, and we all need to learn what works best for us.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What? See, I need blue, clear
No,
water.
that's
Okay.
right.
Now,
I need that too.
listen, I used to be okay going to Ocean City, sit out there for a few hours. I'll be all right. Get my hot dog and my pizza and watch them birds try to snatch the food out of my hand on Atlantic City Beach. I cool. That used to do it. But the stress level is different. My commitment to my business and myself is
Yes,
different,
Yeah,
and
yes,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and who I am now. Ocean City just it won't do it for me. I
yeah.
need a little bit of Turks and Caicos. Don't tell nobody, but I need Turk. I need something.
Right, and you got to know what you need. Because
You
somebody
got
say Ocean City, oh, that just does it for me. I can go there,
cool.
and that is fine. You have to know what it is that you need for this season in your life.
That's right.
And
That's right.
can I piggyback on that
Yeah.
of knowing what you need? Because, like, I know Levine has been getting on me and all of my close friends. I've never been out this country. Okay. I've never taken a vacation until this past summer, and it was to New York City. But what did Kayla do for herself? I would go put myself in a sensory deprivation tank. Give me a 90-minute floating in the
Yes,
darkness of
Lord.
water, and I'm great. I can go see what the end gonna be. So even if I'm saying that because there might be somebody over here who like I can get out the country. I'll go
That's
on
right.
trips.
That's
That's
right.
fine as long as you find a way to replenish yourself.
That's right. That's
That
Exactly.
right.
works for you
That's right.
because the sensory deprivation tank don't work for everybody,
No, it
but
don't.
it
Exactly.
works for me.
I tried it. It didn't work for me.
That sounds scary. You want me to sit
I
in the water in the dark?
I
No.
I I get my good rest in those. I'll be calling on the Lord. I'll be
But
gone to
listen,
go.
it does it for
Gone.
somebody. It does it for my sister, and that's all that matters. So we got people in the comments. You guys, I'm loving what I'm seeing in the comments. You guys are chatting amongst yourselves in the comments. And so there was one person just talked about balance, and they were referring to, church and being, in the church, but it also goes, you could be working so much that you forget about your community. You could be with your family so much that you forget to give back and to connect to your community, because at some point these people and sending prayers out to the people in California, but I heard a guy say he didn't know his neighbors until this tragedy, and they all had to rally together because their house is caught on fire. We don't
Mm.
want to wait till the last minute to
Yeah.
find out. And I can tell you, sometimes it's easy to just walk into your door and don't know who's
Very
around.
easy.
That's right.
You don't
That's
go
right.
to the community center. You don't do anything in your community. But when you need help, you come back to that same very community. So it means that we have to have balance when we are moving about through life, because we can be neglecting ourselves, but we can also be neglecting our community, and that's what we need to survive.
Yeah. You're right about it.
Thank you
Hmm.
guys for
You're
that
so
in
right
the
about it.
comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, got a lot of love, and if you guys have some questions for our amazing panelists, please feel free to put it in the comments. We got a few more questions that we are going to ask, and so let's see where we going to go. So love is a powerful tool, but there are so many challenges in our communities. We have systemic inequalities,
Mm.
racism, economic disparities. How can love be a driving force in addressing these challenges?
Mm. Mm.
Well, I think love is a driving force. It goes to those different types of love, right? Of knowing that you're not in here in it alone.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So in our communities, when we're facing systemic racism, when we're facing oppression, things that is going to touch each and every one of
Yeah,
us. And I keep saying it this way, no matter your socioeconomic
yeah.
status, because there are things that don't matter if you are a billionaire, trillionaire, or if you are on welfare, it is going to touch you. And there are times when we have to be transparent and share our
Mm-hmm.
stories and how this touched you, because sometimes it doesn't matter if you are on Wall Street, if you are a black man driving in a nice car in a nice neighborhood, it is a good chance that they're gonna stop you. And guess what? Just as if they stopped you, they stopped that young man driving on 29th Street. It
Mm.
reminds me of that episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where Carlton and Will
Yeah.
was driving to meet their
That's
family,
right.
and they got sent to jail because it was no way in the world they believed
Mm-hmm.
that they should be in that neighborhood. So I think
Mm-hmm.
the love that needs to spread is truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm.
need to story tell. We need to be honest and stop
Yeah.
hiding the fact that these things do happen. Because once someone realizes I'm not the only one, or it doesn't just happen to the people that
Yeah.
live here, we can bond together faster, because now again we're unashamed of who we are and where we come from, and we can build forces against those people that are holding us down.
Come on. Come on.
Oh,
Go ahead,
she
Dr.
said it
Grace.
all.
she
She said it all.
said, she said.
She she said it all. I think that the only thing I would add is, you know, I think we need more people like you two in the spaces that we're in, shining that light. And I think love plays a part in the motivation,
Mm-hmm.
right? If I wasn't doing what I was doing out of my love for God and the people, the love of people, man, I'd have thrown in the towel a long time ago,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because there isn't, I'm going to say it, much reciprocity in helping people.
Mm.
They're ungrateful.
There's not much reciprocity. And I'm going to say it, people don't like to say it, but ain't a whole lot of money in helping people
Yes.
either.
At
Some of
all.
the most hard jobs, and I have been that person, social services, education, where you're giving back constantly, taking this stuff home with you. Why? And that's a whole nother topic. We're not gonna go there. But
We
like
got
you
to,
said,
That's another
there's
topic.
there's not a lot of,
right.
of
It's not a
money. You
real
don't do
lot.
this We don't do a lot of these things for the money. Now, we believe in God being a provider and all those things, and we got to be, good stewards and good
Yeah.
business people. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, there's not always the motivation is not always money. The
Mm-mm.
motivation is I want to help people. Somebody helped me, so I want to help somebody else. And we do it and we pray that we can find a way to sustain ourselves and maybe get a little bit more to
Oh,
go on those tropical vacations. But
Right.
that's the truth. It's the truth.
It's the truth. And let me say this. I just buy my tickets 8 months in advance. That's why I can go places. I get cheap flights early.
Listen,
that's being
what is that?
a good
Affirm?
steward.
You
Being a
partner
good
and
steward.
affirm?
That's right. Oh,
Buy
but
now, pay later.
that's right. But if it wasn't about love, Levon, I'd have thrown in the towel a long time ago. If it wasn't for love, it wasn't for love out of my heart, my love for
Yeah,
God, the people who were
yeah,
underinsured or no insurance,
yeah,
oh, I would kick them to the side.
yeah,
If it wasn't about, and we have to make those decisions in the work that we
yeah,
do. We have to decide upon profitability or
yeah.
purpose. We have to decide between profitability and our heart of compassion. And we have to do
Mm,
that every
yeah,
single day when we're
Every day.
helping people. Every day. And so I think if love remains that motivator, it allows us to endure the inevitable difficulties
yeah,
of trying to come together and combat these forces that are trying to
yeah,
kill us in this culture today.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been an amazing
Yeah.
conversation. I mean, those who are watching, give it up in the comments for our amazing panelists. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm taking stuff back. And I was hosting and talking, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to go back and watch this. Please make sure you guys go back and share this. Fun
Yeah.
Times Magazine will be posting this on our page so you can share this with others so you can go back and watch it and get those nuggets because this is what it's all about. It's us loving on ourselves, it's us loving on our community because we need it more
Yeah.
than ever. We don't know, and I am an optimist, so it's not going to be doom and gloom, but there's things coming down the
Yes, it
pike, and we're going to
is.
need our community to come together like never before. And that's the love that we were talking about. We celebrate Valentine's Day and the love amongst our friends, our family, but most importantly, our community. And so, again, I want to thank Kayla West. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, and Dr. Corey Grice for
Thank you, sis.
joining us today. I want to shout out the amazing Fun Times team for putting this live together because there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes
That's
that
right.
you guys might not see. So give it up to the Fun Times team. A lot of them are in the chat right now. Give it up to them. We are planning something great for Women's History Month. We have a series that's going to be taking
Right.
place throughout the month of March. So make sure, yes, is it March? Yes. I'm going to make sure I know what month we are in. For the month of March, make sure you tune in to Fun Times. Follow our pages because we always, because we love you guys, are putting out good content, giving you guys the resources that you need, the information that you need so that we can continue to uplift our community. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to our beautiful guests.
Thank you for letting us hang out. This was
Yeah,
great
it
today.
was
And
wonderful.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You guys have any parting words before we leave?
Uh,
I'm in front of
yeah.
you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Just as we were talking about love, I want y'all to be intentional. Always charge people at the end of my show to be intentional. Be intentional of showing love this weekend and
Yeah.
next week. It doesn't matter if that looks like a hug, telling somebody you love them, doing something kind for another,
Yeah.
but just be intentional of showing love in our community.
Awesome.
Love that.
Dr. Grace?
Yeah, I that word intention is eking out of my bones. It's all I
Mm,
think about being intentional. And I know it seems backwards to be intentional about loving yourself, but man, I'm telling you, if you can turn the tide, you'll have the strength, the endurance, the capacity to love all the
yeah.
people who require and need the love that you have. So be intentional about taking care of yourself this week.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you all. Take care of yourself and take care of others.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.